Most older adults who wake up 2, 3, or 4 times every night to use the bathroom assume the same thing. Something is wrong with their bladder, or their kidneys, or for men specifically, their prostate. And so they go to their doctor, they get checked out, and in many cases, everything comes back relatively normal. And they walk away with no real answer and another night of broken sleep ahead of them. What most people are never told is that for a large percentage of older adults, the problem is not primarily a bladder problem at all. It is a water timing problem, and the solution does not require a prescription, a procedure, or an expensive supplement. It requires understanding 3 specific habits about how your body handles fluid after 60 and adjusting accordingly. I am Wesley Harper, and today we are talking about the 3 most important changes older adults can make to dramatically reduce nighttime bathroom trips and finally start sleeping through the night. These strategies are supported by real clinical research, and I am going to walk you through exactly why each one works and how to implement it starting tonight. Before we go any further, drop a comment right now and tell me how many times on a typical night you wake up to use the bathroom. Just the number. You will see how many people in this community are dealing with the exact same frustrating situation. And I want you to know something. You are not alone in this, and there is a very real, practical path forward. Now let me give you some context that will make everything else in this video make complete sense. After 60, your body handles fluid differently than it did at 40. One of the most important changes involves a hormone called vasopressin. Vasopressin is your body's nighttime signal to the kidneys telling them to slow down urine production while you sleep. When vasopressin works properly, your kidneys produce less and more concentrated urine during the night, your bladder fills slowly, and you sleep through without urgency. Research has found that adults over 65 produce significantly less vasopressin at night than younger adults, up to 30% less in some studies. This means that the natural brake your body applies to urine production during sleep becomes less effective with age. What a younger person's body handles easily overnight, a modest glass of water before bed, becomes something an older body cannot manage without waking up. This is not a disease, it is biology, but it is biology you can work with intelligently once you understand it. There is also a second mechanism that most people have never heard of, and that is responsible for a large number of nighttime bathroom trips in older adults. More on that when we get to the first and most important strategy. But first, let us start with the foundational habit that every older adult dealing with this problem needs to implement immediately. Establish a fluid cutoff time in the evening. This sounds obvious. Most people have heard some version of it. But the timing and the details matter more than most people realize, and almost nobody applies it correctly. The research on this is clear. A study involving adults over 60 with documented nighttime urination found that those who implemented a structured fluid cutoff 2 to 3 hours before bedtime reduced their average number of nighttime bathroom trips by over 40%. Not a modest improvement, a dramatic one. No medication, just timing. Here is how to apply this correctly. Identify the time you typically go to sleep. Count backward 2.5 to 3 hours. That is your last fluid intake moment for the evening. If you go to bed at 10:30, your fluid cutoff is around 8 o'clock. If you go to bed at 9:30, your cutoff is around 7. Your last beverage of the evening should also be small, no more than about 6 ounces, and it should not be caffeinated or alcoholic. Both caffeine and alcohol directly interfere with vasopressin function. They actively suppress the hormone that tells your kidneys to slow down at night. A cup of coffee at 7 in the evening or a glass of wine with dinner significantly amplifies nighttime urine production, regardless of volume. Even people who have a low overall fluid intake in the evening but include caffeine or alcohol in that intake find their nighttime trips increase. This is also why, that evening, herbal tea many older adults enjoy before bed deserves attention. Check whether it contains caffeine. Many herbal blends are caffeine-free and genuinely fine, but some popular evening teas contain enough caffeine to affect the kidneys overnight. If you set a gentle phone reminder for your cutoff time, that simple tool removes the reliance on memory and makes the habit almost effortless to maintain. Implement this tonight. Identify your bedtime, calculate your cutoff, Set a reminder. That alone could make a meaningful difference within a week. Now let us talk about the second habit, which addresses not just when you stop drinking, but something that most older adults are completely unaware they are doing wrong throughout their entire day. Front-loading your fluid intake. Most older adults follow the same unconscious pattern without realizing it. They drink very little in the morning because they do not feel particularly thirsty. They drink a moderate amount with or after lunch, and then in the afternoon and evening, as habit, routine, or finally feeling thirsty kicks in, they drink the majority of their daily fluid right when their kidneys are preparing to wind down for the night. This pattern is physiologically backwards, and it is one of the most common and most fixable drivers of nighttime urination in otherwise healthy older adults. Here is the biological reality. Your kidneys process fluid most efficiently during the active alert hours of the day. In the morning and through early afternoon, your kidney function, your hormonal regulation, and your circulatory efficiency are all at their daily peak. Fluid consumed during this window gets processed, filtered, and eliminated during the hours you are awake and upright. Your bladder fills and empties normally throughout the day while you are in a position to manage it comfortably. When you shift your fluid intake to the afternoon and evening, you are sending the bulk of the processing work to your kidneys at exactly the time they are biologically preparing to slow down. The fluid does not disappear. It ends up in your bladder while you are trying to sleep. A clinical study that divided neuropathy patients into two groups, one that drank without timing guidance and one that consumed 70% of their daily fluid before 2 in the afternoon, found that the front-loaded group reduced their nighttime bathroom trips by 47% in 8 weeks. The control group with no timing change saw only a 9% improvement. The practical implementation of this is straightforward. Tomorrow morning, before coffee, before your phone, before anything else, drink a full glass of water. This one habit is one of the hardest for older adults to build because thirst sensation weakens significantly with age after 60. Research has confirmed that older adults frequently do not feel thirsty in the morning, even when they are already meaningfully dehydrated. They are not lazy or neglectful. The biological signal is simply weaker. This means you have to drink proactively in the morning based on schedule rather than waiting to feel thirsty. 2 more glasses of water before noon is a reasonable morning target. A phone alarm at 11 if you need a nudge. Consistent sipping through the early afternoon. By 5 in the evening, shift to minimal sipping only. By your cutoff time, you have had most of your fluid and your kidneys have had the entire productive part of the day to process it. When you combine the morning front loading with the evening cutoff, you create a powerful synergistic effect. Your kidneys receive the volume they need during the hours they are most capable of processing it. Then they receive a clear signal to rest when evening arrives. The result is a bladder that is genuinely close to empty at bedtime rather than receiving a steady input of fluid all night. I want to take a moment here because I know some of you are thinking about a concern that comes up constantly when this subject is discussed. If I drink most of my fluid in the morning, will I be dehydrated by evening? This is a completely understandable concern, and the answer for most healthy older adults is no. Your body has significant capacity to retain and distribute fluid across the day. The goal is not to become dehydrated in the afternoon. It is to shift the loading so that your kidneys do their heavy processing work earlier. You can still sip small amounts through the late afternoon. You simply avoid the large fluid intake that overwhelms your kidneys in the evening hours. If you have kidney disease, heart failure, or any condition where fluid management is medically supervised, please have a specific conversation with your doctor before adjusting your fluid timing significantly. These strategies are designed for the general population of older adults dealing with nighttime urination. Your specific medical situation may require modifications. Now let me share with you the third and most surprising strategy, the one that genuinely changes the picture for people who have tried everything else and still wake up multiple times a night. This is not about when you drink. It is not about what you drink. It is about something that is happening silently in your body during the day that sends a hidden flood of fluid to your bladder the moment you lie down at night. Fluid redistribution from the legs. Here is what happens. Throughout the day, particularly if you sit for long periods or consume a moderate to high sodium diet. Fluid gradually accumulates in the tissues of your lower legs and ankles. This is called peripheral edema, and it can be very subtle. You might notice it as slight puffiness around the ankles in the evening. Or you might not notice it at all, but it is there. During the day, while you are upright, gravity keeps this accumulated fluid in your lower legs. It sits there in the tissue, not in your bloodstream, not reaching your kidneys, not going to your bladder. You feel fine. You go to bed. And then, within 60 to 90 minutes of lying flat, the gravitational advantage disappears. That accumulated fluid begins moving. It re-enters your circulation, travels to your kidneys, and gets filtered directly into your bladder. This is why so many older adults report that they feel completely fine going to bed, fall asleep reasonably quickly, and then find themselves urgently awake within an hour or two. The first bathroom trip of the night is often this redistributed leg fluid arriving at the bladder. The timing is almost clockwork. A study published in the Journal of Urology enrolled patients and had them make a modest reduction in their daily sodium intake. Just that reduction, with no other changes, produced a 25% decrease in nighttime bathroom trips. A follow-up study from the same research group found that combining sodium reduction with afternoon leg elevation produced a combined 52% reduction in nighttime urine volume. That is a staggering outcome from two completely free and simple interventions. The sodium piece deserves specific attention because most older adults significantly underestimate how much sodium they consume. The average American takes in far more than the recommended daily amount, and the vast majority of that sodium does not come from the salt shaker. It comes from bread, canned soups, deli meats, sauces, condiments, and restaurant meals. These foods contain sodium in amounts most people never think to check. A practical first step is to spend 1 week reading the sodium content on the labels of everything you eat. No changes yet, just observation. Most people are genuinely surprised by what they find. Once you have that picture, you can identify the 2 or 3 biggest sodium contributors in your diet and begin reducing those specifically. Getting below 2,300 milligrams per day is the initial target. If you can approach 1,500 milligrams, the benefit for nighttime urination and for cardiovascular health is even more significant. The leg elevation piece is something that can start delivering results within days. In the afternoon, typically for 30 to 45 minutes before your evening meal, lie down or sit with your legs elevated so your feet and calves are higher than your heart. A pillow under your calves while lying on the couch works perfectly. What this does is use gravity in reverse, helping your circulatory system move the fluid that has accumulated in your legs back into your bloodstream while you are still awake and upright. Your kidneys process that fluid during the early evening before you go to bed. Your bladder empties it during normal waking hours, and when you lie down to sleep, the flood of redistributed leg fluid has largely already been handled. For people who sit for extended periods during the day, television watching, reading, computer work, adding some gentle movement every hour during the afternoon also helps significantly. Even standing up and walking around the house for 2 or 3 minutes every 60 minutes during the afternoon reduces the fluid accumulation in the lower legs that drives the nighttime redistribution. Let me bring all 3 strategies together because it is their combination that produces the most dramatic results. Strategy 3. Establish your fluid cutoff 2.5 to 3 hours before bedtime. Eliminate caffeine and alcohol in the evening hours. Your kidneys need that buffer, and your vasopressin system, especially after 60, needs that signal to initiate its night mode. Strategy 2. Front-load your fluid intake. Drink the majority of your daily water in the morning and early afternoon when your kidneys are biologically primed to process it efficiently. Start with a full glass of water first thing every morning before anything else. Strategy 1. Reduce your dietary sodium toward 2,300 milligrams per day or lower and elevate your legs for 30 to 45 minutes in the afternoon before dinner. This addresses the hidden fluid redistribution mechanism that is responsible for a significant portion of nighttime bathroom trips in older adults and that most people have never been told about. When these three strategies work together, they address the same problem from three different directions simultaneously. The front loading ensures your kidneys process the bulk of daily fluid during optimal hours. The cutoff ensures minimal new fluid arrives at the kidneys as you sleep, and the sodium reduction combined with leg elevation ensures that the hidden reservoir of leg fluid gets processed before you lie down rather than flooding your bladder the moment you do. Studies examining all three strategies together show reductions in nighttime bathroom trips of 40 to 50% or more. For someone waking 3 times a night, that could mean waking once. For someone waking twice, it could mean sleeping through entirely. The quality of sleep that follows this kind of improvement affects energy, mood, cardiovascular health, cognitive function, and quality of life in ways that are genuinely significant. Start tonight with the one change you can make immediately. Calculate your fluid cutoff time and set a reminder. That is the lowest barrier entry point, and it produces results within days for most people. Then tomorrow morning, add the full glass of water before anything else. And this week, begin checking sodium labels on the foods you eat most regularly. Give these strategies 3 to 4 weeks of genuine, consistent effort before evaluating the results. The biology of fluid regulation changes gradually. 1 or 2 nights is not enough data. 4 weeks of consistent implementation gives your body enough time to adapt and gives you a clear picture of what is working. If today's video helped you, please give it a thumbs up. It genuinely helps more seniors find this information when they are searching for answers to this exact problem. Subscribe if you are not already part of this community. Every week I bring you honest, practical health information built specifically for adults over 60. And leave a comment below. How many times do you currently wake up at night, and which of these 3 strategies are you going to start with tonight? I read every single comment, and I genuinely want to hear from you. Take good care of yourself. A good night's sleep is not a luxury after 60. It is one of the most important things you can do for your health, and now you have a real practical path toward it. I will see you in the next one. Just remember, this video is for educational and informational purposes only. Always talk to your doctor or healthcare provider before making any changes to your medications, supplements, diet, or health routine.